Hi guys, KP this side. Hope all of you are doing good and you're staying safe in this extended lockdown. So we planned something interesting this time, and I thought rather than doing a stock analysis, which anyways I keep doing most of the times, I thought why not take questions from people who are following us and are our well-wishers, because of whose support and blessings we have reached this far with the InvestorWise journey in last 11 years. So I sent a message on InvestorWise yesterday seeking questions from your end, and the idea was to answer as many as possible in today's session. I have the questions with me. A lot of you have participated in this. I would try to answer as many as possible, and then whatever I don't answer, please don't mind for that. I will be taking up these questions maybe next week. So I'll just read out few of the questions and I'll then give you my understanding about these questions. Okay. So the one of these questions is by Aditya Sadani. What's your take on Tech Mahindra? Tech Mahindra, one of the IT sector companies, is one of the premium IT sector stocks. I personally have given a lot of buy recommendations on Tech Mahindra to our clients. In 3 months, if you see, the stock has gone up from 490 levels to 655 levels. Honestly speaking, 2 months back, maybe 2.5 months back, we first gave the buy recommendation on this stock close to 500 rupees, keeping a target of close to 550. Again, we made the clients buy the stock after 550. It was done. It came down to 525, 530 levels. We again gave a buy recommendation in the range of 530, 535 with a target of 580 plus. And last week, again, after seeing the results of other IT sector companies, we have again given a buy recommendation just last week for 598, 599 rupees. And my target was done yesterday itself. I think Friday it was done. 650 plus was the target, and that has also been done. Results are to be declared tomorrow. If you ask me how is Tech Mahindra as a stock, I feel it's one of the best companies to invest in. Basically, what we do is we are still more focused on companies like Infosys, TCS and Wipro, but Tech Mahindra is one of the best stocks in IT sector. Other than Tech Mahindra, I feel HCL Tech is another very good stock. So if you ask me, is this the right time to invest in Tech Mahindra? My take is probably at this point of time, I would wait for the results of the company which are going to be declared tomorrow. And after that, I would wait for some correction, because obviously some profit booking is going to come in. After that, again, if I find the stock in the range of in the range of 550 odd levels, I would be interested to take fresh buy position. But at this price, I would be little not very sure if I should buy it at this price, because for me it is already looking very high, and in last 3 months the stock has already shown an upside of 34%, and at 655 probably I don't want to take a fresh buy position in it, and have some patience and let the stock do some correction, because after the results stock will show some profit booking and prices will be under pressure. At least that's what I feel, keeping the overall market sentiments in mind. For this particular quarter, they are one of the brokerage houses, that is Motilal Oswal, is expecting PAT to go up by 3.1% year on year, which is not a very attractive number. So that's what as I said, the stock is decently priced even at its current price. If I look at its price to book value, it is 2.83, and the PE ratio is just 15 times, whereas the industry average PE ratio is 22 times. So yes, the stock is still underpriced, but if I have to look at the movement it has shown in last couple of months, I would still wait for some time and wait for the right time to enter the stock, which I've already told you around 550 range is a good buy. Next question is from Nandan. Nandan is asking, what are my views on Alok Industries? Alok Industries, if I take out the particular point that Reliance has purchased a stake in this company around 37.7%, it's a company in textile business. If I have to independently look at the books of Alok Industries, nothing look extraordinarily great over there. So personally, I don't like this stock. Yes, maybe because it is now in the hands of part of it is in the hands of Mr. Ambani. So for that reason, if you want to invest maybe you can consider it, but for me it is still not a great buy. The stock has shown an upside of I think 58, 59 rupees, and now it is close to 27, 28 rupees. So from my end, probably not a great buy, guys. Yes, if you already have it, then till the time stock is giving you upper circuits, you might enjoy the ride. Next question is from Mr. Tejas. Tejas is asking a lot of questions. So Tejas is asking, really happy to get good returns on option services, but sir, do you think we can generate the same kind of return from options in long run if there is no volatility in the market? Thing is, volatility will always be there in the market. Yes, sometimes the volatility will be more compared to other times. The best part about options, as I've always told, is with minimum amount of capital, you can take big exposures. And since we do mostly buying of options, that is the reason you are only liable to pay the premium in respect of options. As for me, most of my clients have small capital base, so what we do is we are very conservative in giving option trades. We take limited exposure, not more than one lot or max two lots we take. So I feel that it is a safe game if I compare it to trading in the cash market with taking a lot of exposure and taking the margin limits from the brokerage house. As far as volatility is concerned, it is always challenging. Even in this kind of a market, you will still find stocks which are not showing a lot of volatility. So volatility is not market specific, it is more of stock specific, which we have to find when we are trying to do options. Even in this volatile market, there are stocks like ITC, there are stocks like, let's take our example, the stocks which I have recommended in last couple of weeks, like Rajesh Exports or Just Dial for that matter, or Excite for that matter. These stocks have not shown a lot of volatility even in last few weeks. So when we are taking option trades, yes, as I keep saying all the time, we are actually fighting against time when you buy options, because there will be time decay of option premium. So when you are betting on one side movement, that movement has to come very fast in the options, and that is where it becomes challenging. So if I say Titan will go up, it's not important whether Titan is going up or not. What matters more is that Titan should move up very fast, because if it does not move very, very fast, then you start losing the premium. And even if the direction has been correct, you have been correct in anticipating the direction, but if it takes a lot of time to reach that point, by that time so much premium decay will happen, time decay of the option will happen, that you still cannot make returns on your option. So whoever is my client, you already know we struggle so much. Like the recent example of IGL we have done. IGL, the stock is going up, but the time it has taken to go up is so much that we are still struggling to recover the premium that we have paid for it. So yes, as an option buyer, you have to be very, very choosy in picking up your options, because you have to take options in a way that not just it shows the direction in which you are taking it, but at the same time that movement has to come very fast, so that you are able to enjoy a higher premium, whether it's a call or a put option. Second question he's asking, Mr. Tejas is asking, is after taking option services in last 2 months, I have observed the time decay of the premium is very fast in the last couple of weeks. Yes, like I told you, as you keep reaching the expiry of the option, the time decay will start happening faster. Because now I can't go very much in details, but there are two values of an option. One is intrinsic value, one is the extrinsic value. Extrinsic value is what you are paying for the time and for the volatility of an option, so certainty of an option. So as you keep going close to the maturity, the out of money options will start losing money, the premium value, very fast. And that especially happens in the last week, like this particular week, which is going to start tomorrow. It is very difficult to trade in August, July expiry options in this last week, because premium will start losing its value very fast. Whether you do call or put does not matter. Okay, I hope I answered you. Are option writers at an advantage? That is another question he's asking. Yes, option writers are always at an advantage, because when premium starts losing its value, the seller of an option will always be benefited by that as against the option buyer. So buyer stands to lose when time decay will apply, but seller will always win in those circumstances. Next question is from, just a second guys. Next question is from Mr. Akash, who is asking me if it is a good time to invest in RCom or R Power. Never. I would never suggest buying these companies, Akash, because I don't like investing in dead companies when the promoter of the company has literally become dormant. You don't want to go for such companies because there are better stocks available for the same price. Yes, if you think RCom or R Power can become the next multi-bagger, just in case if Mukesh Ambani enters into any kind of a tie-up with his brother, probably that is like 1% chance of that happening. So I don't want to risk my capital by buying stocks like these. On the contrary, stocks like Vodafone, stocks like Yes Bank, which are available at a very cheap price, I still see more light at the end of the tunnel, and probably I would prefer to go for such stocks. And the upside is more, downside, the percentage of downside risk is very less in those cases. So even if you go for penny stocks, you will still have to stick to the fundamentals, guys. That cannot be taken away under any circumstances. Just because a stock is available at 4 rupees, 5 rupees, or in any single digit the stock is available, does not become a potentially good stock to make money. You can't do that. You can't just see that if a stock is available at 3-4 rupees, you can buy lakhs of those stocks in anticipation that maybe they will generate good return for you. Does not work like that. You still have to make sure that whatever you buy is not a crappy stock and it has good fundamentals, and only then there are more chances, there is more probability of stock giving you a multi-bagger return kind of thing. Okay. Next question is from Suraj. Now Suraj is asking, I have the following queries. Why don't we do news-based trading? Can we use option strategies like buying both call and put option on the day previous to the results day? That's a very good question, Suraj. The question he's asking is, when we know results are going to come out, why don't we buy both a call and a put? Now that strategy in options market is called as a straddle strategy, where you buy both the call and put at the same exercise price. Or maybe you can use a strangle strategy, where you buy a call at a higher exercise price and you buy a put at a lower exercise price. But again, you need to understand, these are so technical questions which you people have asked. I don't know how to keep them confined in the time limits that we have. So the thing is, when you buy both call and put option, you are ending up paying double the premium, almost double the premium. Now you need to understand something. I always keep saying this. When the results are expected to come out. Now, if I take the example of ICICI Bank, like Suraj is asking me, in this case, what happens is, you need to understand, when the results of HDFC Bank and Axis Bank have already come out, in anticipation that ICICI Bank will also post very good numbers, the stock has already shown a lot of upside. So from here, if the results are good, the stock will still go up. Obviously it will go up, but probably it won't go so much up as you are expecting. When you buy both a call and a put, then it has to show one side direction, and that one side direction has to be extreme, so that you are able to recover the premium paid even on the other side. So what I'm trying to say in simple terms is, if suppose for ICICI Bank, we would have designed a strangle strategy where I buy a call of 390 and I buy a put of 370. If you do this, nothing wrong. This is a very good strategy. But the thing is, 390 call is costing you 11.65, 370 put is costing you around 8 to 9 rupees. You end up paying close to 20 rupees for these options. Now, suppose if the results have been good, which I feel ICICI Bank has posted good numbers, in that case, if the price is not going up, it's not shooting up around 410, 415 range, your call will not be able to realize enough value so that you also recover the premium which you have paid on your put option. So it becomes a little difficult in those circumstances. You need to understand, Indian markets are like this, that when you are expecting results to come out, we don't get to know this, but there are a lot of people out there who are operating at a higher level or who have better access to the resources. They are all already aware about the kind of results company is going to post, and a lot of slowly, a lot of accumulation in the stock will start happening. So by the time you get to know the news, retail investors are the last people to react to the news. You understand that. You are not the first one to react. So by the time you think you will jump into a situation and you will take a long position in ICICI Bank, or maybe buy a call on ICICI Bank, or maybe buy a future on ICICI Bank, by the time you get to know that news, by the time so much accumulation has already started that when you enter into a stock, people start booking profits in that. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So sometimes people are amazed that why is it that when company has posted good numbers, the stock starts suddenly going down. The one big reason for that is because a lot of high net worth investors or a lot of institutional investors, they would have already taken position in those stocks much before us, and by the time the stock starts reacting to the news which is now becoming public, the people at this level, they will start booking profits, and it becomes very difficult for us to make profits from there on. Yes, if you ask me for long-term recommendation on stocks like ICICI Bank, yes, long-term perspectives are very good, but if you want to make money from option and you plan to do something like straddle or strangle, how much of premium you will recover becomes a really doubtful thing. I hope I answered you, man. Next question is from Sharath, who is asking me who decides these circuits. These circuits are applicable both for the index and for the stocks. Only stocks which are available in FNO segment, for them circuits do not apply. So if you talk about a stock like Reliance, circuits won't apply because the stock is also available in FNO segment. So these circuits are determined by exchange, that is BSE and NSE in case of stocks, and in case of index, SEBI decides the circuits. Again, I would repeat this. In case of stocks which are available in FNO segment, there are no circuits applicable. The stock can show upside, downside of 50, 60, 70%. Anything is possible. And for others, yes, exchange and SEBI will define the circuits. Why they do circuits? The conceptual answer to that is that, again, as I said, the retail investors are the last one to react to the news, just to make sure people don't die of a heart attack. Depending on long or short positions, what you have taken, they will put circuits. Now, circuits can be 5%, it can be 10%, it can be 20% for stocks. And then again the circuit will open on the next day. So they keep changing the circuits based on how much volatility the stock is showing. Next question is from Rishabh Jain. He's asking, what are my thoughts on the results of ICICI Bank? I feel yesterday results have been declared for ICICI Bank. I feel the overall results have been good. Keeping in mind that there was a moratorium period in these 3 months, and even in the last 6 months altogether, moratorium period has been there. Company was expected to post a total growth in profits of 40%. They still have posted 36%. Some of this profit is attributed to the stake sale done by ICICI Bank, because of which their profits have gone down. Good news is their net non-performing assets have fallen compared to last year, but yes, they have done higher provisioning on grounds of COVID-19. And yes, RBI had certain mandatory requirements of what is the minimum provisioning to be done for COVID-19. ICICI Bank has done more than that to be on a conservative side. So if you ask me, is ICICI Bank a good stock at the current price? I would say tomorrow after market opens and you see the reaction, it is very much possible that once the stock will show you upside of 415, 420 rupees, and after that you should give it some time to settle down at a particular price. Only after that you should make a fresh entry. Yes, 500 is on the cards. Maybe in a year or so, stock can even touch 500 rupees. That's not a big deal. The stock has already done a 52-week high of 552 rupees. So stock is still available at a cheap price, but not more than 10 days back. The stock was available at 340 odd rupees, and now stock is trading close to 381, 382 rupees. As I said, based on Axis Bank and HDFC results, a lot of people have become bullish on these stocks, and even we with our clients have taken a call on ICICI Bank a couple of times, and overall it's a good stock, but I would still suggest that don't take a fresh buy tomorrow itself. You should give it some time and wait for it, and maybe once it settles around 375, 380 levels again, then maybe you can do a fresh entry into it. He's also asking me what are my thoughts on Motilal Oswal stock. Motilal Oswal again is one of the stocks in my radar, and we have recommended a lot of our clients to buy it in the range of 550 odd rupees with a target of 600, 610, 620, which has already been done by the stock. Now it is trading at 720. In last 3 months, stock has gone up from 465 levels to 720 levels. So again, at its current price, I don't want to buy it. I have always told you, no matter how high the index goes, there are always some good stocks available at cheaper prices. I would prefer those stocks which have already shown 30-40% of revival from their lows. I don't want to get into those stocks, and I would still be patient enough, keep a track of those stocks and wait for the right time to enter. Its P ratio is very high, guys, at 58 times. That is one big disadvantage in this stock. So I personally don't want to enter into it at this current price. Maybe for me, good range is anything close to 600 rupees or maybe a little lower than that. But at 720, probably I would never want to buy this stock. I would never recommend it to my clients. Next, you are asking me about IOL Chemical. IOL Chemical again has shown a lot of upside, guys. So from 441 to it has gone up to 740 in 1 month time. which again makes it very expensive. I think almost it is trading close to its 52-week high. I personally do not prefer to buy IOL Chemical. As far as chemical related stock is concerned, my personal favorite right now is Clariant Chemicals, which has become ex-dividend, and the stock is trading close to its 390 range after it has become ex-dividend. It is a very good stock. You can buy it and hold it for 6 months. Clariant Chemical is one very good stock. Another stock which I personally like is Sudarshan Chemical. Sudarshan and Clariant, both we have recommended and got the targets done, but Clariant Chemical and Sudarshan Chemical both have shown correction, and they are now available at a price where without showing any hesitance you can straight away enter into these stocks. I would, for IOL, I am not saying it's not a good stock, but again, for me the timing of entry and exit matters a lot, so I would still wait for the right time to enter the stock. Yogesh is asking a question. Yogesh has asked me a good question. He's asking, is it correct that when stock is going down we should not do entry into it, and when stock is going up we should not do short into it? If you are talking about doing a short selling in the cash market, then you should never do it. And if you're talking about going short on futures and all, probably that's a personal choice. But what I suggest is, if a stock is going up, then you should first try to understand the reason why the stock is going up. If there is a good reason for the stock to go up, you should never dare to do short on those particular stocks. And as far as taking a long position or buying a particular stock is concerned, yes, if a stock is going down in value for some negative news, or maybe a poor quarterly results, or maybe some corporate governance issues are there, or maybe somebody resigned from their board or from their management, then you need to understand, you need to see the reason why the stock has started going down. If you feel even after discounting this particular news, this particular information, you still feel the fundamentals of the company is still intact, then yes, you should wait for the stock to show some consolidation at a given point, and only then a fresh buy should be done. Yes, you are correct when you say this, that we should not try to enter into a stock which is falling. Like I always say, you should not try to catch hold of a falling knife. That is absolutely true. But then these are opportunities, guys, which you have to maximize your benefits in these opportunities. So if I feel something is going down in value, but like you take example of Just Dial, or you take example of Rajesh Exports, why did I recommend these stocks? These stocks have fallen like anything, and with index going above 11,000, Nifty going above 11,000, these stocks have still not shown upside. So the first thing which I did at my level was, I did a lot of research about these stocks, and I did not find anything going wrong with the companies apart from the systematic risk of pandemic which everybody is suffering. So nothing different for these stocks. But overall, if you ask me, the fundamentals are very good, and I feel that they have consolidated. Like for Rajesh Exports, it has consolidated in the range of 470. For Just Dial, it has consolidated in the range of 370. So that's where I see stocks are consolidating now, and I see that there is nothing going wrong with the stock fundamentally. That's where I will start buying this stock. For short, I never recommend to take short positions on stocks which are showing upside. So it's better to wait and watch. I always have that natural instinct of going for long positions rather than going for short positions, whether you talk about cash market or you talk about futures or you talk about the options, because it is always easy to understand from where a stock can bounce back rather than understanding what is the upper limit of the stock, because theoretically there is no upper limit to the stock. The price at which stock can trade after 2 years is infinite. You don't know. You can never challenge that stock cannot go above 1,000 rupees. It may touch 2,000, it may touch 5,000 also. I hope I answered you, man. Next is a question coming from Dhaval. He's asking, what about Yes Bank FPO? If you applied for it, for me it's good. I saw some of you replying to these questions on my page that Yes Bank, you should stay away from it till the time the stock is giving good numbers. Now the thing is, guys, I am not challenging anybody's answer, because equity markets are subjective. Every two people have different notions. So with all the due respect to everybody who participated in the discussion, but what my point is, if the stock starts posting good numbers, in next couple of years, probably you will not find the stock available at 12 rupees. So the question is that should we buy this company at 12 rupees? And at the same time, some other person has asked me that a lot of people have given buy recommendations even in the range of 200, 210, but stock has come down to 12 rupees. Yes, that is true. Even at 200 rupees, it was looking attractive. But then a lot of internal issues were there. A lot of issues were there with audit reports. So now if you ask me, we can clearly see RBI is trying their level best to help revive this bank. So there are good intentions to help protect this bank. And at 12 rupees, what I understand is that the percentage of downside risk is very limited. So from here, how much can you lose from 12 rupees? Tell me that. How much can you lose? You can lose 12 rupees, right? it cannot become a negative value stock. So if I have a downside of just 12 rupees, but on an upside, what is the minimum I feel it can touch in a couple of years? Maybe 50 rupees. That's the least I feel it can touch. So you have an upside of 4 times and you have a downside of 1 time. It's any day a good bet. And especially with banking stocks, I have always told you this, banking stocks, as far as RBI is concerned, as far as government is concerned, first of all, it's very difficult for you to get a banking license. Once you get a banking license, RBI will make sure, authorities will make sure that they don't let a bank go bankrupt. So that is what exactly I'm expecting even in case of Yes Bank. Yes, let the FPO come out. After that, if you have already applied for it, good, you continue holding it. If you're now planning to make a fresh entry into this stock, I would suggest let the stocks get available. After that, wait for some time, let it come close to 10, 11 rupees. Or if you see it starts right away, it picks up, then maybe in the range of 12, 13, 14, you can still buy this stock. Don't do crazy buying. Don't buy 1 lakh or 2 lakhs of this stock just because you have a lot of money. You should go slow with it. Just see how the movements are coming. If at 12 rupees, you see stock starts looking comfortable, they start posting good results for the quarter, then you can add a little bit more quantity, and like that, so on and so forth, you can add it, but don't go for the entire quantity at one time. Heathel is asking me, is this a good time to start investing in market? Heathel, it's always good time to start investing in market. Today index is trading at 11,000. When index was available at 7,700, there were people out there who were waiting for 6,000 levels to come. I am saying you something, even if we assume once that index would have done 6,000 levels, there would be people out there who are waiting for 5,000 levels. I just don't understand this entire drama where people keep sitting on the edge waiting for markets to correct and then they want to make fresh entry. So people who were waiting at 7,700 for index to touch 6,000 levels are now sitting and still knocking on their head, waiting for index to go down, probably, which they will never get to see. At least you are not going to see the levels of March. Some correction here and there will keep happening. You might see Nifty again at 10,500, 10,600 range. But if you ask me, it's always a good time to invest in equity markets. Number one. Number two, as I keep saying, only with index going up and up, as an advisor, I become more and more responsible, because every Tom, Dick, Harry stock is not going to show more upside from there. So the more the markets are going up, it becomes more and more difficult for me to figure out stocks which still have a lot of upside potential left in them. That is the art of picking up stocks, and that is where I help my clients. So if tomorrow, let's say after a couple of months, we see index going back to 12,000 range, does that mean people will stop investing in market and they will wait for 10,000 levels to come? Never happens like that. A lot of buying will keep coming in. Even at these 11,000 levels, can you just do one thing? Can you go and see how much money FII has brought in last week itself in Indian equity markets? DII has been selling, but FII has been bringing a lot of money in Indian equity markets. So I don't know where does this mindset come from that if index is above 11,000, people feel, oh ho, अब तो मार्केट और नहीं बढ़ सकता है भाई, तो बैठ जाते हैं साइड में, जब मार्केट नीचे आएगा तब खरीदेंगे. सर आप बैठे रह जाएंगे, आपको मार्केट वैसा मौका देगा नहीं. फ्री में तो स्टॉक्स मिलने वाले हैं नहीं, आपको कहीं ना कहीं स्टार्ट करना पड़ेगा. एंड आई डोंट नो हु आर दीज पीपल हु स्प्रेड ऑल दीज bullshit theories. I really don't understand. It's always good time to invest in stocks, because see, if based on July results, the companies which have declared their results, it's okay, only handful of companies have come up with their results. Going forward, you're only going to get better results from companies, and that is only going to push stock prices higher, if that is if my understanding is correct. Yes, tomorrow if it goes down to 10,500 levels, some of you start writing me messages, oh sir, your understanding has been wrong, this time the index has come down. Index has to come up and down. That is a part of the market. You cannot ignore it. Market will not show you only one-sided movement. I in fact love when index goes for a correction, because that is when I get a time to enter into stock. The kind of analysis that I have been doing, if I am waiting for Tech Mahindra to show some correction, if I am waiting for ICICI Bank to show some correction, if I am waiting for Motilal Oswal to show some correction, if I am waiting for IOL Chemicals to show some correction, when will that correction come? That correction can only come when index will go down, and that is the time when I want to enter into these stocks. So this theory never holds good, that we should wait for some more correction in the market, and that more correction is not defined. That is an abstract term. There is no definition for it. I hope I answered you. Sushil is asking me, can you please elaborate a little bit on your Equipedia course? Sushil, this is not the right platform to discuss about Equipedia course. In short, just to give you some idea about it, Equipedia course is where I have tried developing a program where I take the real life companies and I try to do analysis of those companies based on the knowledge I have gained in 11 years. So yes, for somebody who is sincerely looking at doing market analysis, for them Equipedia is a really good course. And I am very proud of running this course for last couple of years. We are right now running the 9th batch. I keep posting some of the analysis done by my students here and there, and very proud of the fact that some of my students have started with their YouTube channels. They have started with doing analysis for some. They have started handling some small portfolios also. I have some students like that also, and that is the best feeling for a faculty or for an advisor. Sir, does that create some kind of conflict of interest for you because you are creating competition? I never feel that. I never feel that, because there is no competition. It's just that more and more people should learn about equity markets. The biggest challenge in Indian equity markets is misinformation and misguidance, and that is where I have taken it as a challenge. I am 33 right now. By the time I attain the age of 40, if I am still alive, I would love to see most of the people, at least who are connected to me, most of the people should have enough knowledge about markets so that any Tom, Dick, Harry should not come and challenge you or misguide you on equity markets. A lot of bullshit theories are prevailing in the market about equity markets. Equity as an asset class is one of the best asset classes you can probably get. I'm not saying all this because I do equity advisory. I say this because I have experienced it in last 11 years. On a whole, equity market will always go up. You need to remember that. Maxon is one of my students. I know him very well. He studied from me in Mumbai long back, I think 7-8 years back. Maxon, I still remember you. So you're asking me what are the best 5 indicators that we should look into. Best 5, you say. I personally look for at least 30 to 35 indicators in a stock. But if you ask me best 5, first for me will be the business model of the company. I need to understand how good is the business model of the company, whether the products which they are selling has a cyclical business, that their preferences will be more during some part of the year, or will they be accepted throughout the year. Like pharma will have its presence throughout the year. So you need to understand first the business model, then you need to link the business model to the current situation. Like now we say in the pharma stocks are on a high, pharma stocks are continuously rising. But do you think it was difficult for us to understand that pharma stocks will go up when you have a situation, a pandemic like COVID-19? Obviously, pharma sector is the sector which is going to do very well. That is not something difficult to understand. And we had recommended a lot of pharma stocks in the past based on that understanding. At the same time, you need to understand auto sector is one sector which will have great demand throughout the year. But when you have a situation like pandemic, like COVID-19, probably people will prefer to buy cars or motorcycles as their last preference. So in the first couple of months of this pandemic, a lot of good stocks like Bajaj Auto, Hero Motor, Maruti, Escorts, these were available at a very cheap prices. And now, yes, once the industry has opened up, from that time the stocks have again started reviving. So that is the understanding of business model. Second is price to book value. You have to see, for me, that's very important. Any price to book value ratio in the range of 5, 6, 7 times, I would strictly say a no for such stocks. Price to earning ratio is the third important parameter for me. How much debt the company is sitting on is very important. Nobody can give you a better example about debt better than Mr. Mukesh Ambani. He took his debt very seriously and he got rid of it in the best possible way. So yes, debt, too much of debt is bad for the companies. And I would also like to look at the holding pattern of the company, because for me it matters how much money has been put into how much stake is purchased by the FII, how much stake is held by the DII, like the mutual funds, the hedge funds, the bank, the insurance companies, the banks. For me that matters. How much of the promoter holding is being pledged, that is another very important thing. Whether promoter is continuously reducing his stake in the company, that makes me a little fishy about this stock. So these are 5 parameters, Maxon. I hope I answered you. Sahil is asking me if Just Dial is a good stock at current price. Sahil, I don't know if you have seen my video. I've done a full-fledged video on Just Dial, and yes, for me it is a good stock. Last week it did show some momentum. It touched 390 odd levels, but it could not survive there. So I still feel this is a very good time to enter into the stock in the range of 370, 371. Sohail is asking me if CFP is a good program to do. CFP is Certified Financial Planner, if I understand that correct. So I personally feel if you want to pick up any international course, it has to be CFA. But at the same time, Sohail, you need to understand that if you're doing CFA, you need to meet all the requirements that CFA program requires. Now, CFA program in India or in any other part of the world, if you do, there is a requirement that you need to have 4 years of exposure as a junior portfolio manager and then a senior portfolio manager. These 4 years of experience probably will give you a lot of learning. But हम तो इंडियंस हैं, हमें तो हर चीज़ में चोरी करना है. And that's how the faculties are, very sorry to say, a lot of faculties are selling CFA classes saying that वो 4 साल का कोर्स करने का, वो 4 साल का एक्सपोजर का ज़रूरत नहीं है, आप डिग्री ले लीजिए. सर, आप डिग्री लेके करेंगे क्या? जब आप डिग्री लेके जॉब लेने जाएंगे तो आपको कुछ भी नहीं आता है, क्योंकि आपने तो सिर्फ थ्योरेटिकल वर्ल्ड में किया है सब कुछ. इसलिए इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, इफ़ यू प्लान अ कोर्स लाइक CFA और CFP और ACCA, practical exposure is very important. Not doing the training program in CFA is as good as doing a CA without articleship in it. I hope you got my point. Okay, next question is from Siddhant. Siddhant is asking me, Siddhant is also my student. He's a rank holder in CSE. I am so well connected to all of you, Siddhant. Love you, man. You did very well and you made me proud. Last time we met in Jiffy, I remember that. So Siddhant is asking me, should we put all the money in one mutual fund if we are very confident about it? Siddhant, I didn't expect this question from you, man. I've taught you SFM. What I feel is, mutual funds should only be used as an alternative investment avenue. You can't put all your money in mutual funds. I personally don't like mutual funds because there are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, there are a lot of hidden charges in mutual funds. Number two, you don't have control on your money. You are giving control of your money to somebody else. And more importantly, there is no transparency about the actions that they are taking. And at the end of 5 years, a mutual fund will give you a very subsidized return of 5, 6, 7% an annum. At the same time, after 5 years, you have already become dependent on them and you never got enough knowledge about equity markets. So for me, any day it is better, especially if you are a chartered accountant or you have done any other professional course, it's very important that you do invest on your own. And suppose if you have a total capital of 10 lakhs to be put in equity markets, 6 to 7 lakhs you should put by yourself, and maybe for the remaining 2 to 3 lakhs, which is 20 to 30% of your total equity allocation, you can put that money in mutual funds. And whether you put it in one mutual fund or you put it in two mutual funds, that decision can again be taken on what kind of a product they are going to invest your money in. There are mutual funds which are investing only in large cap stocks. There are mutual funds which are investing only in mid cap stocks. There are mutual funds which are investing only in IT sector companies. There are mutual funds which are investing only in emerging business ideas. So you need to diversify your money across mutual funds. But putting all your money in mutual funds is never a great idea because you never have transparency about it. There are high charges they charge you without even disclosing some of them. There are lock-in periods and there are many other caveats which they don't disclose you properly at the beginning of it. And the worst part is that even at the end of 5 or 10 years, you don't learn anything and you become handicapped and you have become dependent on somebody else for your investments. I personally don't like that. Prashant is asking me, what is the role of rating agencies? Prashant, I feel for people like you and me, rating agencies do not make any sense because we don't in equity markets depend much on rating agencies. Rating agencies like CRISIL, CARE, ICRA, Fitch, Moody's, these companies are primarily applicable when you're doing bond investments of private companies or when companies have to raise funds through money market instruments like commercial paper, or they have to go for treasury bills in case of government or certificate of deposits in case of banks. That is when they need to get a rating done, and that is where an investor would be interested to do rating. Yes, some of the NBFCs or finance companies, if their rating has not been done properly and you have invested in any of these stocks, that is where you get exposure to the markets falling. So directly we don't have any exposure. If you ask me, should I invest in CARE rating, then I could have given you a better answer. But if you ask me as an equity investor or as an equity advisor, does rating agency have any role in my investments? Probably not. Yes, if rating agencies have not done their work properly, then we have situations like IIFL scam, which was a 91,000 crores of scam, and that is the reason some of the good companies like Yes Bank or Dewan Housing have gone for a toss, because IIFL has taken money from all these people but they did not pay. So that is where rating agencies' role comes in. They have to give rating based on the credit worthiness of the company, and looking at those ratings, different companies will give their money to such companies. Like in IIFL case, a lot of people have given their money looking at the rating agencies' ratings. But for you and me, directly it does not have any impact. Next question comes from Parth. Parth is asking, is IRCON a good investment? We have already given a general recommendation on IRCON. IRCON is a good stock and currently is trading around 93. We gave a buy recommendation, if I remember correctly, we gave a buy recommendation around 88 with a target of 100. It did go above 95, 96, and I sent a message asking everybody to book profit in it. Yes, it might test your patience, Parth, but overall, if you see, their net profits are very healthy and they have a price to book value of close to 1. Their PE ratio is also very low. It is 9 times as against industry average of 15.75 times. So yes, it is a very good stock, but it might test your patience. Even if you're looking at an upside of 20-25%, it might take you a year or so to achieve that number, until and unless operators come into the game. If operators come, yes, then the stock might go up very fast. Next question is from Jitendra. He's asking, if I want to do SIP in some of the stocks, which stocks would you probably suggest? I personally don't like the idea of doing SIP in stocks, because if you think something is good, you should put the money immediately in that. Yes, SIP, when you define the term SIP, again it becomes very, very subjective to one is its own. For me, SIP should be defined as, if you want to put 1 lakh in HDFC Bank, probably you will put 50,000 now, 25,000 maybe after a month, and another 25,000 after 2 months, just keeping in mind how the price movements are happening. But at any point of time, if you think every month I will buy 2 shares of HDFC, that idea does not work great for me, because at any point of time I don't see a lot of profits accumulating. So still, just to answer you, Jitendra, if you ask me which are the stocks, I would still stick to the stocks which are fundamentally very good, like the Bajaj Twins or maybe Bajaj Auto, or Bajaj Holding is also good. ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank are my top picks in the banking sector. I can also go for Maruti. I can go for HDFC Limited, which is into housing development, and I can also go for Hero Motors. These are some of the stocks probably I would like to pick for SIP purpose. Arpita is asking me, is there market manipulations happening? Arpita, I've answered that many times on my videos. Yes, stock markets will be manipulated by the operators. Some, as I told you, there is a lot of insider trading going on. SEBI has a role to play in this, but SEBI's control over things is not always possible. Some insider trading will happen. Like, I give you one simple example. When Reliance has done 11 to 12 deals back to back, definitely somebody in Reliance at higher level, lower level, mid level, I don't know, but somebody would be knowing about that. And in such circumstances, people would leak out the information, and there are a lot of people who would have taken a long positions and would have made a lot of money out of it. Operators are always there, insiders are always there. Yes, they will be there, but if you ask me overall, does that impact you as an investor? If you are a long-term investor, if you buy stocks which are fundamentally good, if you know the art of buying right, sitting tight, then it will not impact you much. But if you're a speculator, you are an intraday player, BTST types of things you are doing, probably operators might eat you in a couple of years. Big fishes always eat small fishes in the pond. You got to remember that. What are my views on Reliance? Arpita, Reliance is always a good stock. Probably this is not the time to enter into it. You can wait for some correction and enter into it. If it gives you a range of 1700, 1800 again, I am not saying it will touch that range, but at its current price of 2100 odd rupees, it's a very bold move to get into the stock. I don't like that. Webab is asking me, is it a good time to invest in gold? Gold is trading at its all-time high. Last 3 months, gold in India has shown an upside of 25%. That's a crazy upside, isn't it? So, see, the problem is that when we look at a particular asset class and we want to invest in that asset class, you need to understand. Generally, it takes your attention only when the thing has reached its pinnacle point, and that at that point, for me, it becomes very difficult to convince myself to buy it. So for me, gold trading at 51,000 rupees per 10 grams, I don't dare to buy it. I would wait for some corrections. Am I looking at 25,000 levels? No, that levels you probably will never get to see. But yes, you might wait for something like 45,000 range. That is where I would like to buy it. At its price, yes, traders are saying, a lot of experts are saying it might touch 60,000 levels also, 65,000 also. But for me, I don't dare to enter into it. Yes, different people have different views. Somebody might be interested to buy even at this price. I personally wouldn't suggest. Somebody asked me, I don't have the name with me, somebody asked me, what is the reason for gold prices to go up? It's the uncertainty in the market. When markets are uncertain, when you know equity markets are uncertain, when you know when you are fearing a fall in equity market at any point of time, when you see sluggishness in the real estate business, when you're not very much willing to invest in bonds because interest rates are going down because of regular stimulus being introduced by the government, then only thing that you can do is buy gold. That is the only asset class where you can put your money. Mutual funds is gone, equity markets are gone, bond investments are gone, and real estate is gone. So all that you're left with is gold. So that is why when more and more people start buying gold, that is when the prices will start going up. So probably if the sentiments start getting normal for other asset classes, automatically you will see gold prices will start coming down. So generally there is a negative correlation between gold prices and equity markets. That is, when equity markets are going down, gold prices will go up, and when gold prices are going down, equity markets are going up. That's a negative correlation, which right now is not being followed by the market. But as I told you, right now probably people are looking at safety of their investment. But is it safe to buy gold at 51,000 range? For me, it's not. Okay, you might differ in opinion. Dhaval again asked me, Britannia, what are my recommendations? Dhaval, if you think to buy this stock at its current price, for me it is very highly priced. Its price to book value ratio is 20 times. Its P ratio is 54 times. absolutely a no. Trading at 30 odd bucks, for me it is not a good pick. Sir, can you suggest something else from FMCG sector? This question you did not ask, I'm adding from my side just to give some value addition to your question. Is this a good time to buy some other stock in FMCG sector? My personal preference for a good value investing stock is ITC. ITC is heavily underpriced stock. Results for this quarter have come out. Not a very good results. They are posted for obvious reasons. Their cigarette business has not done well. Their hotel industry has not done well. So stock might see some pressure tomorrow morning when the markets open. But in the range of 190 to 195, it's a very good pick for a long time. If I tell you the price to book value ratio for ITC, it's just 3 times, and its P ratio is 16 times, which clearly makes us understand that it is a very, very good stock at its current price. I'm tired, guys. There's no end to your questions, but I'm very happy you asked so many questions. Last question I'm taking up, which comes from Sushant, and if I missed anybody's questions, I am extremely sorry for that. As I told you, you can keep shooting your questions over here, or I will develop a new link. And if I did not answer your question, guys, keep your egos aside. No harsh feelings. You can just copy paste your question from this link to that link, and I will take up your questions in the next segment when we discuss again. But Sushant is asking me one question, that because of COVID-19, the markets are still, the COVID is still at its peak, but the world markets are at their high after recovering from their lows for decades. Why the markets are high even in such a situation? You need to understand, why did markets go down in first place? You need to see everything, whether it's fiscal deficit, it is lower GDP, or it is the hampering of businesses, it is lockdown, or it is any other impact which you need to consider. Everything has been taken care of, and after that the markets have shown you the downside of 7700 levels as far as Nifty is concerned. So if you ask me, everything has been factored in, and from here markets can only recover in hopes that businesses will start off, in hopes that vaccine will come for COVID-19. So yes, it's in hopes that some stimulus will be given by the government, in hopes that production has started, consumption will start happening very soon. Keeping all these things in mind, people have started doing fresh entry into the markets, and that is why you see the markets are trading high now. But as I said, who defines the word high? Nobody. It's just people speculating. Some feel market should not be above 11,000, some feel it might even touch 12,000 in no time. So you need to understand, overall, if you see, as I keep saying, it's a very good market to invest your money, but you have to be very cautious. Every time market shows you a new range on the upside, you just have to become a little more alert about your investments, and you need to buy right. If you are buying right stocks, even if Nifty is trading at 15,000 range, which is a hypothetical situation, probably it will take another couple of years to reach that range. Do you mean that there would not be good opportunities at that price? You will still have a lot of stocks trading cheap even in those markets. That is where the indicators like P ratio, price to book value, the business model of the company, the debt the company is using, the pattern of their business holding, the growth, the expansion plans, how they are merging with other businesses, all these things have to be considered, and based on that you have to pick right stocks. I hope this session has been useful, guys. I don't know if I have been very fast in answering, because the idea was to cover as many questions as possible without hurting anybody that why did you not answer my question. I have tried covering as much as possible. I am saying it again, maybe not next week, maybe then in 15 days I will create a new link. You can again leave your questions over there and I would answer it. The idea is that every month we should have at least a couple of sessions where I take up questions from you. Not doing a live session, because live session internet issues are there, and I may not be able to focus on the questions, and I need to do some research before I start coming, before I come and start speaking something or the other. So I have to do my homework before I start speaking about it, and I have done my work. I have done a lot of research based on your questions, and that is when I wanted to answer them. So we'll do it again, guys. I hope you found the video useful. If you have money with you, and if you want to do equity investments, then I feel this is the right time. Never wait for index to reach a certain range, only after which you will start investing. That's a very stupid logical reasoning for not putting your money in the market and sitting on the edge and looking for corrections to happen in the market. Yes, corrections will happen, but there are still good stocks available at current prices also, with Nifty trading above 11,000 range. Till we meet again, stay bullish, guys. Bye bye, cheers. God bless all of you. Thank you.